Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Joan. How are you? I hope you're doing well. How's things? How's things where you are? I'm checking to see if my paint bottles are working today. You're okay? Good. So I know that at one point not too long ago you were not feeling well at all. Are you feeling a little better? Or did you get over whatever it was that you had going on? I hope. It is a great day here. It's amazing to me how paints and paint bottles don't last forever. That's, what's up with that? I think they're supposed to last forever, don't you? I mean, after all, I bought and paid for it. Don't you think it should last forever? Hello, Ellen. Good to see you. I'm glad you're joining us. Just checking to see what... Oh, that's too wet. Checking to see which of my paint bottles are working for me today. While we're waiting for people to arrive. And I'm holding a cat. Because he has insisted upon being in my lap. He is, I'm telling you, this is Chance 2.0. Aren't you? He's even gray. He is Chance 2.0. You've had a heat wave. Oh, cancer scare. Oh, it's all okay now? Oh, good. That must be really scary. Hey, Purple Nana Linda. Good to see you. Ellen, I hope things are going well in your world. He is so funny. And this cat has completely attached himself to me. Completely. He's crazy. He is a crazy, crazy cat. And right now, he's having a hard time staying on my lap because he wants to slip off. Aren't you? Yes. You're a funny boy. This is Braveheart, in case some of you don't know. Braveheart is an old boy. He's about 14. And he is one of two outdoor cats here. He was completely outdoor cat as far as I knew, and when I got here, and I don't know, he has attached himself to me in the last maybe 3 months, and has decided that I am his people. And he is going to, this is exactly what Chance used to do. Exactly what he would do. He wanted to be on my lap. Charlie was even worse. Charlie and Chance were my two Siamese who were adoptees. We adopted them from somebody who needed to rehome them. Charlie died first. He sat like this. Then came Chance, who liked to sit like this. And now we have Braveheart, who insists on sitting like this. So there you go. You're just waiting to hear about a job, Ellen. Good. Well, big fingers crossed for you. Absolutely. I hope it goes smashingly well for you. That you get the one you want. So anyway, Braveheart has decided that I'm his people. And his routine in the morning is he comes in. He wants wet food. And he wants it You know, it's okay if he gets fed inside or outside, doesn't matter. And so if I take him outside, then he shares with the other outdoor cats. And then he wants to come right back in, and he follows me around and wants me to sit down and hold him. And I'm telling you, no, he will not take no for an answer. Does not take no for an answer, do you? Hey, Dorothy. Hi, Kathy Patterson. Good to see you. So this morning we were up early because we had to go, Elton had a test that he had to do this morning at the hospital. All is good, but you know how those things go. It's a little till you get it done and over with. And but it was a lot of get ready for it. He's done them before. Get ready for it the day before. You don't sleep a lot that night, which means I don't sleep a lot. Nobody sleeps a lot the night before. And, you know, it's crazy. Anyway, we got there and then had to wait a while for the doctor to come give the report and preliminary report. And then we had to go eat breakfast. And then we came home. So we've kind of been like this today. Kind of like that. Yeah. Anyway, so there you go. Kathy Patterson, I hope you're doing well. Good to see you in the chat. So if I can get this cat, who has become very playful, I don't know if he'll play for us or not, but he's very playful at 14. He is a funny, funny cat. He much prefers to be on my lap, getting my black sweater full of cat hair. Can't be dog hair, can it? Yeah. See, he is like a tick. He just wants to be attached to me. And he's a lot of company. He's a very, very sweet boy, to the point of being a little bit obnoxious. Just a little bit obnoxious. He's a cutie. He's a cutie pie. Anyway. So, yeah. Let's see. Made another dinosaur this week, so I'll show it to you. It's pretty cute, I have to say. It's pretty cute. I'm now into the second half of the dinosaur quilt that I'm making for great-grandson. And the top half of it is all warm colors, and then it transitions into cool colors. So this is the first of the cool color dinosaurs. Mr. Stegosaurus. He's pretty cute, I think. I think he's pretty cute. I love this fabric. Love that. Kind of polka dotty, and that's kind of the theme. This is obviously polka dots, and so is this. But I think it's cute. And I like this background fabric. It's kind of a motley, grungy look background. Anyway, it never ceases to amaze me how different in size these blocks come out. Same sewing machine, same everything. Same thread, same sewing machine, same needle, same presser foot. Using the same seam allowances, still come out to be different sizes. It's pretty crazy. Anyway, so last week we were working on an art journal page using fabric that is still all over the floor down here. Using fabric, a combination of commercial fabrics and also painted fabrics. And we got to a point and then we quit because it was getting late. So I think what we're going to do today is we'll work on this some more because I have not had a chance to work on it since. So this is where we started. These are all commercial fabrics out here on the edge that I put two layers of those fabrics along the edge so that they would make this page, this burlap page, a little bit wider because they always tend to shrink in width. And so what we're going to do, and I've just tacked down, I've cut these are all hand painted fabrics, jelly print, plate, most of them. I think they might all be, I'm not sure. Anyway, I've tacked them in place, but I have not glued them in for their final gluing. I think I did on the, down here on the base. I think I did. If I could get this out of here, I would stitch it. In fact, you know, that is kind of a good idea, but the sewing machine's not in here, so we won't do that. I was going to say I could just cut it out and do the machine stitching and then glue it back in. But, you know, the sewing machine is all the way down at the other end of the house, and I'd have to go get it and drag it down here, and you guys would have to wait, so that's probably not a great idea. I think we'll do it with paint. But what I would normally do is I would do it with stitch. Of course, we could hand stitch it. That I could do. Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll just do it with paint and so forth. What do you guys think? Any suggestions from the peanut gallery? Maybe we'll just do it with glue and paint. How about that? We'll just do that. Okay. So I need to go in here. We're going to see if my bottle of glue is going to work for me today. Because the little ball thing, you know, on the little pin came off. No, you can't. You can't stand on my stuff here. Braveheart wants to get up and walk around. Anyway, let's see if we're gonna get this to work. It is my glue bottle. There's plenty of glue in it. The glue tip is not cooperating. I'm going to see if I can get... It apparently needs to be cleaned out. Okay, it's not going to work, so we're going to just stick the little pin minus its top, and we're just going to stick it back down in here. And then when I have a chance, I will take it apart and see if I can get it cleaned out. Either that or I'll buy a new one. That's more likely to be what I'll do. Buy a new tip. I don't know. You know, it's the same old question. It's like, I bought it. It should work forever, right? Do what I feel. That's a good thought. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch to a different glue that I was using last week. And this is Crafter's Pick the Ultimate. And it's a great, I really like it as a glue. It is the only non-toxic water-based super glue. Adheres to metals, plastics, glass, and more. But it does, like all those glues, they thicken up over time. And so I'm just going to squirt it out on a little card here. And then I think what we'll do is just kind of tack a little bit more of all of these things down. And also, I found a Rolodex, an old Rolodex, and I thought it might be fun for us to do a, now I won't do a ton of cards for it, but I thought it might be kind of fun since, what is it that's coming up? Index card a day, I think it is, it's coming up for June and July. Oh, and there is this next Friday, I'm planning to be here, but I may not be here the one after that, so just so you know. But I should be here next Friday. This is actually a holiday weekend here, and just checking to see where things need a little bit of gluage. So, any of you celebrating Memorial Day, I hope you enjoy a good and safe celebration. There is so much road construction going on around where I live that I can't even imagine. Last weekend, for several weekends, it has been graduations here. We have 2 colleges and 1 university here in the town where I live. And then you have multiple high schools. We have 3 different high schools that are public high schools, and 2 private high schools, and all of these graduations have been going on, all of them. And they've staggered them a little bit, but man, it has been, yeah, it has been quite the activity around here, for sure. And one restaurant, we were going to go get something to eat at this restaurant the other day, and it was closed for the day. And I thought, yeah, I bet they ran out of food. I had to wait. Their shipment comes in on Thursday, and they were closed on Wednesday. I thought, I bet I know why. Okay, so there we have that. I need to put in a couple more stems. So I'm going to just cut off a piece of this green fabric. It's a bank holiday there too. So probably it's going to be, is that on Monday? Is that when you have your holiday? I need 2 more stems, 1 for each of these flowers here. So we're going to see if we can come up with a contrast. Let's see if we can just cut out this chunk right here. And here comes Mr. Braveheart. He has the tiniest little meow. Yes, you have a tiny meow, don't you? Okay, I'm just peeling back a little bit of the vase, the vase, and What are you doing? I don't know if you can hear him, but he is the cutest, really and truly. He has the cutest little meow until he gets hungry, and then he gets quite demanding about his desire to be fed. Until then, it's real meow, meow, and then when he wants to be fed, man, it is more like meow. I mean, he gets very opinionated, super opinionated. All right, let's cut this. Okay, I think that'll probably work. And then in order to detail and set apart all of these stems and detail the flower bits a little bit, we're going to use some fabric paint and see what we can come up with. All right, let's go like this. Can you hear him talking? Okay, let's put this there, and we'll give it a little chunk off here. Let's see. Just open that up just a little bit. This is why you don't want to glue everything down super tightly, because there might be a chance that you might want to stick something under something else, and so that's one reason that you would kind of let things be loosely glued down. Okay. And I'm not sure that you guys can see that as much as I can, but you know, it was floating flower heads, and I thought, no, we got to have something there that's going to connect those little flowers. I'm not sure you can see that at all, but I can see it from here. So that little stem is going to this little flower here. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of glue here behind this little bloom. Okay. And then in my stash O stuff, there are these little butterflies, and I'm going to chunk one of these out here. And I'm going to see if that's going to work in this, because, you know, flowers and butterflies, they do kind of go together, don't you think? There was a quote that butterflies are flowers with wings, which I think is a sweet quote. One I tend to agree with. I'm gonna pretend that this butterfly has a short little body and not cut the long part that sticks down. I don't know butterfly anatomy, but, and then I'm gonna cut off the antenna too. And the butterfly doesn't care. He told me he didn't care. It's just a fake butterfly for decoration, I'm sure. I'm sure it is. These are not my good scissors. Let's just say that. Okay, let's just see if we may just kind of Just kind of add a butterfly here or there. Just because they're, you can't ever have too many. At least that's what I think. I've had some pretty spectacular butterfly encounters in my life. One in particular that was pretty amazing. So butterflies tend to have specific and very meaningful, just very meaningful for me. I may just perch that butterfly on this little flower bloom so that it is off the page. And then maybe, I don't know, it's hard for me to have only two of something. I'm more inclined to have three instead of two. Might have him come there. And then, let's see. Let's see what we can do to make a third butterfly, but in a different pose. Let's see what we can do. Braveheart is wandering around in my room. This fabric was so pretty. Butterflies, like I said, are something that are particularly meaningful. The metamorphosis of the butterfly is, it's that story about when the caterpillar spins its cocoon, it thinks it's going to die, and it emerges as this incredibly new, spectacular being. So we're going to take this one, put a little glue in, and bend it in half. And then I think I will just perch that little butterfly up here on the top of this flower like it is helping itself to a nibble of something. Braveheart, I can't hold you right now. He's wandering now. He's on the table beside me. So we're just going to perch that little butterfly up there, like so. Maybe we should do that with this one as well. What do you think? I like that idea. I do. I like that idea. Okay, we're going to do it again. He's sitting beside me on my little table that is beside me. So I've just put some glue in there, folded the wings, and he's talking to me. I'm sorry if that is obnoxious to any of you. It's the way it is. I don't know what this cat's fascination with me is. My glue is setting up, so it's being a little contrary. Okay, let's just put that little butterfly right there. The other two cats, outdoor, indoor cats, are also in the house, and so they are, let's see, what would this one look like? He's just being obnoxious. I mean, he's not being terrible. He just wants to be here. Elton came to the rescue. Okay, this one is not quite as amazing, but I like that. I like the position of that one, I think, better than looking in the camera. Yeah, I like him over there, so that's where he's going to go. So he doesn't have quite the same, he's not quite as pretty in some ways as the other ones, the shape, but you know what? It's okay. So we're going to let him act like he's kind of going down inside the flower. These two are kind of perched on the edges, and this one's kind of going down. I kind of like that. And then it picks up the color from the vase. You like to hear them talking? Oh, Joan's been making butterflies out of resin ready to use on cards. Oh, nice. And resin earrings and pendants. Do you have molds for those, Joan? Is that what you're doing? Are you pouring them in molds, or what are you doing? Okay. So, there we go. That's at least going to kind of get us going in a direction. This needs some more stuff. So, we're going to we'll kind of play around here and see what happens, okay? Okay. All right. So one of the other things I wanted to do with this is to use a little bit of something in the background. So I thought what we would do is just use some color, and this little thing, which is a dauber by the Faber-Castell company, and I have a bunch of these, so I don't care if this one is, if I use it and don't wash it out, it's okay. How do you like my new jewelry on my finger? See it? It's called an Oval 8. It is in hopes to keep my finger from going any more crooked than it is. Yep. So it's my new jewelry that I'm sporting. Lovely. Oh well, if I can keep my finger from going south or west or east or whatever direction. Whatever direction it's trying to go, we're going to see if we can get it to go not that way. Okay, so what I have here is golden fluid acrylic that's flat, so it dries flat. And so I'm just going to work out of the lid unless this doesn't work. Okay. And let's see, that's fine. So we're going to just put some polka dots in the background, as though it were wallpaper of some kind. Okay. So all I'm doing is taking the lid, getting some paint, and then dabbing it off on this palette just so I don't have too much paint. That way we have something in the background happening. Okay? All right. And that works okay. So that gives us something in the background. That gives us some other stuff to work with the butterflies, and things are glued in place and so forth. And now I think we can start doing some details and see what we can come up with. You do have a lot of molds. Okay. No, it's not painful at all. It's just, it's just arthritis. But what it's doing is it's letting my finger, right now it doesn't look as crooked as it is, but it's letting this finger just go this direction. The rest of them aren't going too badly. This one has a cyst on it. I know, too much personal information. This one needs to have somebody look at it and take the cyst off. But anyway, and all that does is just hold it so it can't go further, bend further that direction. The aging process is great in that if you weren't aging, you know what the alternative is. I certainly do. Been there, done that. Watched it happen. Don't want to do that again if possible anytime soon. And so if you can do something, I talked to my granddaughter who is an occupational therapist, and I asked her if there was something, if she knew of anything I could do to help that finger, to keep it from going, this one is not going that direction, but this one is. And who knows why? The finger doesn't hurt, the knuckle doesn't hurt, nothing hurts. It's just kind of ugly. You have that issue with your right. Now, see, I have no explanation for this because it's my left hand. I'm right-handed. It has a lot to answer for. That's right. It's crazy. Anyway, there you go. Enough complaining, because there really is nothing to complain about. It's just conversation. Okay, so what I have here to detail this, and this is where you take creative license and you just kind of look at the situation and you just start doing things and just see what happens. This is, and the thing that you don't get too excited about on situations like this is just an art journal book. Okay, I'm not going to sell this. This is just a book that I do stuff in for pure pleasure. Some of it is finished, some of it is not finished. Some of it I did at points in time where there were things going on in my life that I just needed to sort of work my way through, and I didn't feel like writing about it. So, doing an art journal page like this one was one of those that allowed me to kind of work my way through whatever the thing was I was dealing with at the time. And this was about balance You know, my life was really out of balance, and so that was a way that I could kind of get refocused and just take a second look at whatever it was. This is about my dad, and that was, you know, he and I had a kind of a difficult relationship at times, and so periodically I do another page about him because it's just another part of the healing process for me in that area. This was just pure fun. That was Chance. This is Charlie. So those were just pure fun. That's Charlie also. So this one and this one are the same figure, just done in radically different ways. And those are just done just for fun, you know. So sometimes the art journal things I do are fun. Sometimes they're just slap crap on a page that I don't know what I'm going to do with. Maybe nothing, but I like the colors, or it was a way to use up the scraps or whatever. So I do art journaling for different reasons. This was something I did on stream one night when I got done with it. I thought that was the ugliest thing I ever did in my entire life, and I still think it's the ugliest thing I ever did. But what I think I may do is take a picture of this and print it on the printer and then cut the bits and pieces out and do something that way. I don't know. I have no idea. But anyway, so art journaling for me serves a lot of different purposes. For some people, hi Terry, for some people it is purely about art. For some people, I mean, they really make every page done very artistically. Yeah, sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. So there you go. Okay, I need a couple of paper towels. And what I have here is I have 2 bottles of, these are Tulip Slick Writers. These are dimensional fabric paints. I have one in white, one in black. I also have black in a fine line applicator. These you find in the hobby stores mostly. And I also have white in the fine line applicator. We're going to start with this black one and see what we can do here. Now the thing about this, you have to think about if you're right-handed or left-handed, because whichever hand you are, if you're right-handed, you want to start on the left-hand part of the page and work your way across and work top to bottom. Otherwise, you will, guaranteed, smear with your hand. You'll lay your hand right in it. And so I don't want to do that if possible. But it is not natural to me to start on the left-hand side and work to the right. I will instinctively start here, and then I'm fighting it the whole time. So we're going to start over here, because I told you that. So we're going to start here. Okay, so let's see. And what we're going to do is just play, okay? And just see what happens. And this does not have to be anything spectacular. Hit and miss. Just giving it somewhat of that kind of sketchy quality that kind of carries through with what we have down here in the vase. And then something similar down here with the vase. But not intending to have straight lines or even smooth lines. Just adding some kind of interesting qualities to painterly is what gosh. Barb's just searching for words today. A painterly quality of sorts. Okay, good enough. Then, let's see. I'm going to get some water. I'll be right back. And let's see, I have two different golds here, acrylic paint in gold, and one is iridescent gold fine, the other one is iridescent gold deep fine. And you can see this is the deep one. I think we're going to use the deep one and do a few little details here and there. If you have any questions, be sure you put them in all caps so that I hopefully will catch them. Okay, so again, because I'm working, sometimes work is a loose terminology for what I'm doing here. I'm not working, I'm playing. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to hit this with a little bit of heat and see if we can dry some of this paint without boiling it. If you get down too close on top of wet acrylic paint with a heat gun, you will boil it. Now, that can be a really cool effect, but that's not really what I'm going for right now. I love a good sketchy look on things like this. The black makes it show up, but I love the sketchy quality of it. And so this is exactly the kind of thing that I enjoy a lot. Okay, we're going to use, that is, I'm going to use a little round brush. So, I don't know what this brush is. Anyway, little round brush. A little bit of this iridescent, fine, deep, fine acrylic paint. This is a golden, it's a golden fluid acrylic. Iridescent gold, deep, fine. Okay, so that's what we're using. With a little bit of water in it. And then let's see. All right, let's work on this butterfly up here. I just want to see what we can do. See if we can get a little bit of gold. And since since this is sticking out over the border, I'm going to just leave it. I was going to cut the butterfly wings down, but you know, I don't think I will because they're sticking out over that little border. And I'm just going to see if I can dab kind of loosely, kind of maintaining some of that essence of painterly quality. And it's always going to show up better on the white areas than it is on the dark areas with a paint that's not 100% opaque. If it's opaque, an opaque paint, it will show up over the black. If it's not 100% opaque, it's going to show up better over white. And the reason that you know if it's opaque or not is how much can you see those black marks through the swipe of paint that's on there. For example, on the other one, you can see maybe a little bit more of the black stripes through the swipe of paint. So this one is less opaque than this one. Okay, let's go. I kind of like that. Just a little bit of gold sparkle in that little butterfly. And I'm not going to sparkle the other butterfly wing because that would be the back side of the butterfly wing. So we're not going to do that. Okay, I'm going to turn my book around a little bit so it may be upside down or sideways. And let's put a few more gold sparkles over here on this one. One of the things that this will help do is tie that orange and gold and stuff border over here, which was just scraps. That's where the whole thing started, was with those scraps of fabric. And then we went off in a totally different direction with adding this hand-created fabric. And so, you know, sometimes you start one direction and you go off. RL used to say, Clausman used to say that somebody if he made a mess out of something, he got on his horse and rode off in all directions. And sometimes that's what I do in an art journal. I get on my horse and I ride off in all directions. That can happen. Okay, so we have some gold highlights on that butterfly. And then we'll come down here, and I was going to use some Diary Light Yellow on this because that would have picked up this color really well, but that was not to be. The Diary Light Yellow bottle was clogged up. So we went, okay, switch courses. What else is available? And that would be this beautiful gold. And this is truly a beautiful gold. The Golden Fluid Acrylic Gold is something, as is evidenced by the price. If you buy a big bottle of it, you're going to pay quite a bit. But it is a beautiful, bright, sparkly gold. And if this gets to be too much, like, you know, if I get a little wild with the quantity of paint, you can always come back and add a little bit of black. After this dries, you can come back and add some black in there if you need to kind of calm it down a little bit. Okay, another thing I wanted to do with this, I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to find out. It's only an art journal page and nobody cares. Truly, nobody cares. I'm going to go to a script brush, which is like this, okay? It's got long bristles. And I'm going to add a lot of water into this gold until it is an inky consistency. There is an art form, which this is only a riff on that art form. There's an art form in Japan called kintsugi, I believe is the way you pronounce it, but I would not promise that. And when something gets broken, they, like a vase, for example, or a cup or a bowl, they will mend it back together, but they will mend it with gold. So it takes the broken thing and makes it beautiful. And so I thought that we might play with that idea. When we were almost a year ago, we went on a cruise with Elton's 3 kids and a granddaughter. And one of the places that we went was Venice. Now, I have done more traveling with Elton than I have traveled pretty much my whole life. And I had never been, I've been out of this country, but like to the Caribbean. But I had never been to Europe or any place. So going to Venice was just eye-opening for me. Completely eye-opening. And we were there for an extra day, actually an extra couple of days, beginning and end of the trip. And we went by boat, and we went to Murano, the island of Murano. And which is where they make the real Murano glass, they said. And while we were there, we bought a beautiful piece of glass artwork. It was a fish. I don't think I showed that. And I'm not going to show it because it's too hard. It would be very hard to show under the camera. And it really is a beautiful piece. And we bought a couple of tumblers, like glasses, tumbler glasses. And we got to see, they took us back in the back part of where the artist displays were. The glass, like where they were making art pieces as opposed to, like glasses and cups and bowls that you would eat or drink out of. These were literally the art, fine art pieces is what I'm struggling to say. Sometimes it is very hard to say things and do something artistically at the same time. So thank you for your patience as I search for words. Anyway, one of Elton's daughters bought a beautiful, I think it was two. I think it was a vase and a bowl that she bought. Absolutely, both of them were beautiful. And she got back home and she put those two pieces in specific places in her home. And she has two cats. Now, I'm sure by now you've figured out the end of this story. I don't know if you can see this. Let me hold this up a little bit more. Can you see that? That is the color right there, okay? When it's down on the table surface, you can't really see it. Okay? Is Elton here? Good. 3 cats are captured in asleep. Excellent. Excellent work, dear. Excellent work. So what you're seeing down here is not, this is not accurate for the color of that gold. I'll show it to you better again. But it has to be down here for me to paint like this. Anyway, so I don't know which piece it was. She has a ledge, like a wide windowsill over her, I think it's her kitchen sink, above her kitchen sink. And she put this beautiful piece of glass. I'm just trying to think where I want to go here. She put this beautiful piece of glass there. And now, if you know anything at all about cats, cats love something new. They love it. And they are going to investigate it. They're kind of like children, right? They've seen the new thing, and they want to see, they want to hold it, they want to do something with it. Cats want to look at it, rub on it, nuzzle it, scratch their back on it. And so this cat did exactly that and knocked it into the sink. Okay, now it broke into approximately, I would say, a couple hundred pieces. And she wrote the whole family a text and said she was sad to report there had been a cat hate crime that had occurred at her house, and then she sent a picture. And this was right after she had sent us a picture of the actual bowl or vase, whichever it was. I think it was I don't know what it was. Anyway, she sent a picture of it because none of us had seen it. It had been packed away in a bag as she was carrying it from place to place in this well-packed bag. And so here it was. We had a picture for approximately one evening, and it was beautiful. And the next time we got a picture of it, which I think was the next day, but I'm not certain. It might have been a smidge longer than that. The next time we saw a picture, it was all these pieces. Oh my goodness, she was just, I think she was heartsick. Because those pieces are not inexpensive. And this cat, this ornery cat, had investigated and rubbed against it to check it out and broken it into many, many pieces. So she carefully gathered up all the pieces, and she had a kit for doing this, the kintsugi. And she really thought about trying to do it. The real deal is very, it's quite involved. It's quite an involved process. And she really thought about trying to do it, and she finally decided that it was going to be more than her patience could tolerate. I'm not sure what she did with all the pieces. I don't know if she kept them or if she decorated the landfill somewhere. I really am not certain. But, I mean, it was somewhere, it was somewhere between all of us feeling very sad for her and also finding the whole thing hilariously funny, because she had carried this beautiful thing all around, because we got these at the very beginning of the trip. Ours was shipped back. Hers was not. She carried it with her from place to place to place. And oh my goodness, it was something else. I mean, honestly, you almost just had to laugh because it was, what else were you going to do? You were just going to cry about it, right? It's a wonder that cat maintained its happy home. But she really thought about trying to do this technique of putting it together with the gold. I think what stopped her was it was so many pieces. But anyway, yeah, it was like I said, it was somewhere between so sad and so hilarious. And, the rest of us were just gasping with, oh, you've got to be kidding. And the next question is, do you still have the cat? Okay. My brush is not carrying an extraordinary amount of paint, so I'm having to stop and pick up more paint pretty quickly here. Pretty frequently. Okay. All right, let's finish this over here, and then I will see if there's any other little things I want to do. Hello, Barbara Clark. She was heartbroken. She does have the second piece though. He only managed to break one piece. So she managed to keep the second piece. All right, I'm going to have to get some more paint here because it's finally given up. It's given all it can out of that little blob I squirted out, so we're going to have to get some more. So what have you guys been doing? I hope you've been having a good week. I think one of the lessons from that that broken piece was not to hold on, to hold on to things loosely, not to hold life. So you want to hold on to the parts of life that are meaningful, but not to hold on to, as much as you enjoy material things, to make sure that you have a perspective on what is real and what is honestly valuable and what is perceived as valuable. So I think there are lessons everywhere. Okay, I think we're getting there. But not to put too much value in, not to place extraordinary value on material things. Material things can go away in a heartbeat. Or a cat print, a cat paw. Okay. All right, let me hold this up so you can look at it. And I may come down, I may do the rest of the outline in gold, I'm not sure. Anyway, let me hold this up so you can, there you go. That's how the gold looks. Like that. I may go ahead and add, although it wouldn't be absolutely necessary. I just like doing it, so I think I'm going to put some more gold on here. So if this were actually the real technique, this would not be going on around the edge like this, but I'm having fun. So you know what? I'm going to do it. Let's see, there I've painted myself into a corner again. So I'm going to have to make a bridge with my other hand so that I don't set my painting hand down. And then I'll be sensible enough to turn the book and finish this other part coming around here. And then we'll see what else we think we should do. If you have shaky hands, this is your kind of thing. If you don't have shaky hands, you might have to fake it a little bit. So I have mostly been working on, actually this has been a really busy week. We've had a lot of things to do this week. But when I've been here and I've been working on the dinosaur quilt. This little guy's going to turn 2 here before long, and it doesn't mean that I'm going to get his quilt done by the time he's 2 by any means. I would like to get it done before he turns 50, which, by the way, I made my son a quilt when he was 3. He is much past 3, and I still have the quilt. Because I still haven't determined if he's mature enough to take care of it. I know. No, that's not really it. He really hasn't been in a place where he would be interested in having the quilt. So, yeah. But I do tease him. I do tease him about it. Okay, let's see. Is there anything else I want to do? Barb Clark is doing Kelly Blue and May Florals. Oh, nice. Zentangle Floral Challenge. Wow. Oh, I bet you are. Puppies. Good. Granulating watercolors. Oh, nice. Very nice. And Barbara Clark is downloading brushes on Procreate. Cool. And hand stitching. Very cool. What kind of puppy did you get? I know I saw that one of the lessons of yeah, one of the lessons of having a cat hang on loosely. That is so true. It is so true. Cats are something else. Okay, let's see. Kind of thinking. I'm debating. I'm debating in my own mind here. All right, we're just going to go for it. So this is another one of the Slick Writers in white. And just adding a few little white dots. Just to give it a little sparkle in the background. And then somewhere, I don't know where, I had a pen. Sometimes you have to find a way to correct yourself a little bit. So again, I'm just adding a little bit to give it a little bit of, I don't know what, something. And at that point, I think we're going to leave this alone and let it kind of dry and do its own thing. And I may come back and add something else to it later. Who knows? Who knows what we'll do? But in the meantime, what's on the other side of this? Nothing. Okay. So what we may do here, I'm going to turn this around, because if I try to lift paint across that, so this is going to be upside down on purpose. So if I try to drag paint from the palette over to that, it is a recipe for disaster. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of this flat turquoise cobalt teal, and we're going to put some paint on this other side. So we get rid of the white. Just get rid of this white paint, or white page syndrome here. And at least give ourselves some just something to work from, you know? I haven't worked with this flat paint a lot, so this is going to be kind of interesting to see what it's like and how it dries, and you know what it looks like and all that kind of stuff. So, but this will just give us kind of a background to go from. Okay, so we have some turquoise or some cobalt teal base, and then I'm thinking I want to put a little bit of burnt umber light with it. Just a tiny bit. That gold is really pretty, isn't it? On that base. Isn't that pretty? I love that. Actually, I really like how this page is coming together. Is it done? I don't know. It could be. Although, rarely do I have anything that I would consider locked up and done in my world. So I'm going to tone this down just a little bit, this cobalt teal, just a smidge, so that it looks just a little bit more like this page, even though there's nothing on it yet. Kind of goes with it. You don't have that stark white. Okay, let's turn it this this way. And I don't know how well this is going to work because I don't know how wet this paint's going to stay. But we're going to just give this a try. I can find my baby wipes, which were just here. How can you have something in your hand 1 minute and then it goes away the next minute? That's all right. I truly don't know where they went. That's okay. We'll use a new one. Of course, by the time I get this done, get down to the wet baby wipe, it's going to be too late. We'll have to put some more paint on it here in a second. Because I made the mistake of not getting the stencil out before I started to do this. You guys understand. I'm sure you understand. Okay. Let me get the stencil out. Then we can do this again. Okay. We have a stencil. We're going to take some of this gold that we used on the other paint, the other side, the other page, and maybe some of the brown, and just kind of mix those together and put kind of a, not really a wash, but kind of. All right, we got to work kind of quickly here, Barb. Okay, let's see what happens here. Let's see if I can get this to work. It's been a while since I've done this, so. Okay, I got the stencil out. Where did it go? Are you kidding me? Oh, it's on the floor. Okay. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this works. Okay, good. So what this is doing is removing paint and adding some visual texture to that page. Okay, you kind of get the idea, hopefully. And then just let it sit and dry and do its thing. It's going to dry darker. Acrylic paint usually dries down darker, so let's let it sit there, let it do its thing, let it dry. I got a little aggressive right there. It's good enough. And just let it dry, and that will give us something to work from when working on the next page. So there's that. Okay. But you have to catch that at the right moment, because if you do it when it's too wet, you can't make it happen. If you do it when it's too dry, you can't make it happen. It's a Goldilocks thing. So anyway, okay, so we can let that sit. We can let that sit. Hello, Artie Dar. Okay, so let's let that sit for a minute. So then what I have here is, this is an old Rolodex. I think this belonged to my dad. Actually, I have two. I'll show you the other one. So this is my other Rolodex that I had, that I currently own. And these are not the same. This is not the same. Two different size cards, two different styles of Rolodex. This one, I have a thing that I'm going to show you that would make this my the wiser one for me to choose. But I like this size card, and I like this size idea, or I like the idea of this one for leafing through it. And so I'm leaning toward doing this one. Here's the dilemma. Do you see the difference in the holes? The width of the holes? Okay. So this is the hole punch that I bought from Amazon. It's the We Are Memory Keepers Memory Decks hole punch. So this one has one width of hole punch, and it goes with this one. So it goes with the small one. So it only works with the smaller cards. Now I can recut the cards, but there is a limit to how big the cards can be because of the size of the stand. Where this one, there is no limit. It can be however high or whatever shape I can do. So I'm pretty much leaning toward doing this one and just hand cutting the holes. But I was sad. I've had this hole punch thing for a long time, and I was excited about using it, but sad now that it doesn't work with the one. Because somehow in my head I thought, oh, a Rolodex is a Rolodex is a Rolodex. And you know what? That's not the truth. It's not the truth. So there you go. So here's my thought, is I'm going to probably scrap or save. I'll just save the roly one, the one that is round. I'll save that for a future project. One yet to be determined. And this one, I'm going to take these and I'm either going to put some of these cards together, because there is 1,012 cards in here that are unused. I don't know where this one came from. I think it came from my dad, but I really don't know where it came from. But there's a lot of cards in there unused, and there are some of the things with the tabs on them here at the back, divider tabs. There's even a pretty blue divider tab. What for? Don't know. So I can either take these and glue 2 or 3 of them together so it will strengthen the card. Or I have a whole bag of various kinds of watercolor paper. So for example, we can take this card. We'll just do it this direction. So we can take this card, and I'm going to just put it here in the middle because I'm going to use a pencil. And this is the advantage to doing this style of Rolodex, is I can use watercolor paper, and I'm going to make these. I am restricted by the width, but not by the height. So what if I wanted to make a card that was that shape? Let's cut it out and try it. I know it's a conundrum. It is a conundrum. That is a true statement. So let's just make this wiggly, not for any particular shape, just wiggly. A wiggly top on it. So we're just trying this out to see if we think this will work. Okay? And then I think I'm going to have to hand cut these. But here I'm going to try something and see if it works. It might or might not. So let's see. We'll see if this will work. Like I said, this is a 1/4 inch hole punch. So let's see. I didn't quite do that right. Yeah. Let's try this again. Okay, so not exactly the neatest thing in the whole world. Let's see if this will fit. And it works. So even though the holes aren't, you know, the perfectly square little hole that is the Rolodex hole, as long as the slot part down here, I think, is the right size. As long as that's big enough to get over the little sliding rails, I think it'll work. Don't you think? Hey, Shoo. I saw that, Dar. I remember you did that. Yep, I do. So now this will have to be, these will have to be created before starting to do, if I'm going to make different shapes of cards, they'll have to be done with the holes in them before I start doing artwork on them. Because then whatever you do to cover over, you know, cover the base of this, if you cover it with paper or something, then you have to come back and cut the holes, you know, at least one more time. Anyway, so I'm thinking that may be what we do, because that would be kind of a fun thing that would not restrict, it wouldn't restrict the shape of the card, other than you are restricted to the width of the card this way. but the height of the card, I think it could be a fun project. It could tell us, it could be a theme, it could be just random art, it could be all different kinds of things. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So that may be what we start on next week. How about that? What do you think of that? What do you think of them apples? So, and then once you cut whatever it is, shape, then, you know, come back and clean up the pencil marks, and then, you know, then you can come in and clean up the cuts, you know, just, I mean, it can be some asymmetrical thing. You know, and then just go for it. And I mean, it could be a mountain, it could be clouds, it could be abstract, it could be whatever. So anyway, I'm thinking that's what I may do. So I'll play around with that idea, but I think starting next week, that may be what we do for at least for a few weeks. Or it may be something that we start like at the beginning of the stream and then, you know, do this like a warm-up thing. Could be any number of things, don't you think? Yeah. Yeah, the roof of a house, absolutely. It could be a gnome house, it could be a cottage, it could be a stone cottage, it could be all kinds of things. So these little things, that's what I wanted to test out, was to see, is this little square bit, how critical is that shape? And it's not really critical because the round part worked just fine. The only thing that's critical on there is this little slot business down here. That's critical, that's the right size, because if that's too wide, well, first of all, if it's not placed right, it's not going to fit on the rails of the Rolodex, right? So it's got to be spaced right. But then if it's if they're too wide, then they'll just pull out or fall out, so that won't work. So these little guys, I think, are the critical things. And if that memory deck's punch had worked, that would just have been perfect. But you know what? It didn't. So Barb, quit whining about it. All right, let's, just for grins and giggles, I'm going to take 3 of these and just for one more, we're just playing now, okay? So we're done with doing anything of any value here today. Yes. Yeah, cupcake. Perfect. Yeah, cupcake is a perfect perfect thing. So we're gonna just try putting some of these together. I just want to see what they would be like if wishes were fishes. What if I glued, okay, there's 2 of them glued together. That gives us about the weight of a 60-pound cardstock by putting 2 of those together. But it's not as heavy as this watercolor paper. So let's add another one on top of this. So let's put another one on top of this. Because these are all die cut by, factory cut somewhere, they should, in theory, they should all line up. The holes, that is, should line up. Okay. I'm going to take a bunch of these out, just to get them out of the way. Okay, so here is 3 cards glued together. Okay, and that will work in there. And that makes a nice surface and still allows these to be used. So that, I think, is probably the option, is to glue some of these together to make a decent weight surface to work on. And then I can always put watercolor ground on them if we want to do watercolor or something on them, so we can do that. So I think it's either a matter of glue several together like that, or cut them if I really want to do a watercolor surface, or have an actual watercolor card, because I do like the weight of watercolor. And I have this whole nice package of scraps, watercolor paper scraps. So that would be the other option, and then that way I could vary the tops and so forth for that. So that could be fun. I think a cupcake would be really cute out of that. Don't you think? Mm-hmm. Okay, so there is my messing around and thinking about what could I do. I'm just going to put that on there so it'll flatten out. Put an iron on it. So that's what we're going to start hopefully next week. And then this is what we did today. We just played around with this, adding some details to our flowers, added some butterflies, put some gold paint on the butterflies, and then turned the vase into a kintsugi vase where we broke it apart and then glued it back together with gold, and then just put a little bit of background over here so it's got something on it. And then we can go from there and add something on this page at some point. At least it's got away from the white page, which was what I was after. Okay, so, and look how cute would this be. This is my little great-granddaughter's artwork. How cute would those be glued on there? Then I could save them. Yeah, so that might be what happens there. Those might get glued on. Those might have to get glued on there. Too cute. All right, any questions about anything? No questions? There is this neighborhood. Speaking of houses, I just saw Barbara Clark, what she said. There's this whole neighborhood in the Kansas City area. It is where Elton's daughter lives. And they have the most incredible houses. I don't know if I'd saved pictures of these. I snapshot a whole bunch of pictures at one point. Let me look real quick. Okay. But you guys will, I mean, you talk about, and it is exactly what I thought I would do at some point. I would use these houses as I don't know if I can show them to you enough. Okay, here's one, for example. Now this is on Zillow, so these are houses that are for sale. Okay, but let me show you. So pay no attention to the fact that these houses are for sale, but those are the, they have these really interesting doorways and windows and okay, let me look at it again here. Okay, can you see that? No. Here. No. I don't think it's not gonna show because it's on Zillow, so they're trying to you see that, the different styles of houses, but they have the cutest doorways, just not this one so much, but they're just some, like the see the stone fronts, the window treatment, the treatments over the doorways, and that is not a good representation of this area, but anyway, you kind of got the idea. Maybe you have the idea, maybe not. But anyway, I have a whole bunch of those pictures somewhere in my phone. That would be fun. So, just fun to do. But also, I took so many pictures of doors and doorways and the architecture when we were on the cruise last year, because we were in several different places where there was different styles of architecture. And it's like, I want to do the doors. I want to do the locks, the door knockers, all those things, so I think that could be fun in this kind of thing too. But it doesn't have to be themed around one thing. It can be kind of whatever mood I'm in. But I think it would be a great place to start with houses, doors, windows. Anyway, so there you go. All right, we're going to go. I'm going to go. You guys have a great weekend. As far as I know, I'll be back here next Friday. And until then, as always, remember to get creative. Because it's easy. Be kind to each other. Write somebody a letter. That is a great thing to do. And that's quite a gift these days, given the price of postage. Write somebody a letter. Give them a call. If you have not written to Lizzie Brewer, I encourage you to do that. Encourage her. She can use it, as we all can. You can find her address on her YouTube channel. Okay, with that, I'm going to go. I'll see you guys next week. Bye for now.